Hello, hello. I'm Carolyn, your host. Welcome to Weekly Minis, your bite-sized workshop on the hottest acro topics. You can reference all of our previous weekly minis and more amazing content on our Acrobatic Arts channel on YouTube. If you have any questions while we're live, drop them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer those for you at the end of the presentation. If you know someone who would benefit from hearing about today's topic, be a friend and click the share button on this post right now. Today, we're pleased to bring you Acrobatic Arts CEO and founder Mandy Yip with a bite-sized tutorial on how to use the class planning features in the AcroDance Resource Center. Mandy is the creator of Acrobatic Arts certification program and syllabus and considered an expert in the art of AcroDance. As the founder and CEO of Acrobatic Arts, Mandy oversees it all: staff, delivery of all training programs, and the Acrobatic Arts syllabus in dance studios globally. As the past owner of a highly successful dance studio, she understands the demands for an exceptional product and a well-trained dance teaching staff in the studio, which is a great segue to our conversation about the class planning features on the AcroDance Resource Center. Welcome, Mandy.
Thanks, Carolyn. So great to be here again. Love doing weekly minis with you.
We love having you and hearing from you because we know you have experience as a studio owner and a dance teacher, and all of your experience working with dance teachers around the world and running acrobatic arts. Now is the time of year for at least those of us in the Northern Hemisphere that are preparing for our season ahead. And so it is a big time for class planning and getting prepared, is it not?
Class planning takes a lot of time. If you do class planning right, it is a very time-consuming venture. And that's part of why we made this such an important feature in the AcroDance Resource Center, was to give teachers those tools so that they didn't have to spend hours and hours and hours trying to curate beautiful class plans for their students, and also think about the year all at once. If you're a really great teacher, you start with the end in mind. So right from your first class in August and September, you're already thinking about how you're going to make all of those classes work, as you have, about 33 classes in a year. And at the end of the year, you're going to have whatever goals you have set for those students achieved. And that is a big ask. So by putting these things together, we're giving teachers those tools so that they don't have to do all of that work.
And I love that. And as a new Module 1 teacher myself, looking through the syllabus and trying to anticipate how I am going to get started in my class planning, for example, it may seem like a big venture, but as I think you're going to tell us, Acrobatic Arts has a plan for that and a tool for that.
Absolutely, yeah. And it was one of the things that was most requested from our teachers after we launched our very first app. That was the one thing that teachers kept asking us for. Great, we have all of these resources, we have all these videos, but how do we put that together into cohesive plans so that we actually achieve what we want to achieve by the end of the season? And so that's what we put together for teachers.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to let you take it away. I think you're going to give us a bit of a tutorial on how it all works and take that anxiety off of our plate, as I think Acrobatic Arts does so well. So away you go.
Thanks, Carolyn. So we're going to go into the AcroDance Resource Center. And if you don't already have it, this is where you're going to find it on our website. So you can head over to acrobaticarts.com and then click syllabus, and that will give you the opportunity to purchase it. I've already got it on my account, so I'm just going to click here to my login and bring it up like this. Now, we have the app in two places. You can use it by logging into our website, like I just showed you, or you can also use it on your phone through an app that we have posted on both Google Play and the App Store. So depending on which works better for you, you get both when you purchase it from Acrobatic Arts. I'm going to show you first our lesson plan guidelines. So here in Featured, if I scroll down to Teaching Tools, and then head over here to this class plan template, it's going to bring up this class plan. And what I love about this is that it splits your class into minutes. So assuming that you have a 1-hour class, if you have less than that, you're going to have to use percentages to sort of figure out how much time you should spend on each of these categories. But if you have a 1-hour class, then we've already done it for you. And these are the things that you're going to spend time working on. So there is cardio, warm-up, wrist and shoulder stretches, handstands and balances, bridges, limbering, tumbling, or partnering. And that's about 15 minutes of your class. So that's the real acro-y part of your class. Then we spend time on flexibility and stability, and then the cool down. And these two optional things down here, challenges and focus, I'll talk a little bit about as well. I think one of the mistakes that teachers make when they first start teaching acro is that they spend all of their class, the whole hour, right here on this one little section. So the kids come in, we do like maybe a quick stretch, or we say, you're probably warm enough from jazz, we'll just get right into it. And we start working on cartwheels and walkovers and tumbling or partnering. And the problem with that is that we're not developing really great foundations so that the kids can quickly accomplish these skills. So they end up spending a lot more time trying to gain those skills, when if they had spent the time on these other elements of class instead, those skills would come together a whole lot easier for them. And that might seem counterintuitive when you first start teaching, but trust me, after you've taught for a long time like I have, you'll start to realize that that is so true. If you spend time on handstands and bridges and stretching and warm up and cardio, the tricks, as we like to call them, come so easy for the dancers. So this is a great little template. If you want to just take the template and start putting in what you're going to work on, the objective of each of these sections is listed here as well, so you can see that, and that will give you some ideas. So that was sort of step one of us creating lesson plans for teachers to use. But we also went a little bit further and actually created a whole bunch of lesson plans for you to use that are pre-done. So I'm going to go back here to the home page, and I'm going to now instead click here on lesson plans. So when I click here, it's going to give me a whole bunch of different options of curated lesson plans that we've created for you for every level, for different situations. So you can see that we have some here for Zoom and Acro Island. So perhaps that your studio's on a snow break this year and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do for a whole hour in acro with my level 4 to 7 kids. No problem. We have ideas here for you to use right on your computer when your kids are at home. Even though we're let's hope, out of pandemic mode right now, there probably will be opportunities where we're teaching online still. We've learned how to make that part of our regular lessons. And so that, like I said, for snow days in some places, especially here where I am in Canada, that can really help. But today we're going to try to focus on this level 4 to level 7 kneeling, tinsikas, and side aerial section. So you can see here that we have this split up into 6 weeks. So there is a 6-week lesson plan tutorial that goes through what you would do on week 1 with your dancers, then what you would do on week 2, etc., all the way until you get to 6 weeks. So I'm going to click here and we're going to go through it. This particular lesson is a 60-minute lesson. You can see over here that it tells me how many minutes I'm going to spend on each section. And then it has a bit of a written description for me as the teacher to understand why I'm doing this part of the class, what's so important about it, what I need to be watching for. And then down here, we have all of the exercises that we're going to do. So in this particular lesson plan, we have a cardio section that's 5 minutes long that's going to include a circuit. So these cards, which are also printable right here in the Resource Center, are going to be placed around your studio, and the kids are going to go from station to station doing each of these skills and spend about 40 seconds on each of those skills before they move to the next station until they have completed the entire circuit. So that's our cardio warm-up. Then we have our warm-up, and this is going to include stretching and strength elements from the syllabus. So you can see a whole bunch of different ideas here on what you're going to do for your stretching and what we're going to do for our strength. And each of these, in case you're not quite sure what that thing is, you can click on it and watch a video of the dancer actually performing that skill. So I can see here Megan performing the skill, and it's got a little bit of information here about what I should be watching for as a teacher as well. So after we're finished our warm-up, we do our wrists and shoulders. So here we have the wrists and shoulders section, all the different exercises that we're going to do in the class. We're going to spend about 7 minutes on handstands and balancing. Here's the handstands and the balancing that we're going to do for this particular class. And we get into our bridges, and we get into our limbering. So for this class, the 15 minutes that is the most acro-y part, the part that the kids and the parents think is the most important part of your class, we're going to spend most of it on limbering. And there's a little note here to the teacher, and it tells us a little bit about the skills that we're going to work on. And remember at the beginning, when we started looking at this 6-week lesson series, we're working on rolling tinsikas. So these are all progressions that are going to help to lead to that rolling tinsika goal at the end of the 6 weeks. Then we're going to spend some time on flexibility and, of course, our cool down. Okay, so that is week 1 of this series. Now I could go on to week 2 and week 3 and week 4 all the way down until I get to week 6. And what you'll see happen is that each of those weeks will get just a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging. There will be new elements brought in as far as the progressions for those rolling tensicas and side aerials. And the kids will progress through those things. Now, at the end of those 6 weeks, maybe they haven't mastered these skills yet, but they'll certainly be well on their way. I'm going to just take you into week 2 here to show you how in this particular series, we switch back and forth from tensicas to side aerials. So in week 1, it was all rolling tensica progressions. If I scroll down here to that section with the acro in it, so we'll go down all the way here, we're going to see rolling tensicas, and then we're going to see as we move forward into the section, it go into the side aerials as well. So let's just click on that and bring up the side aerials so we can see just a few of those ideas of what would be expected for progressions in side aerials. So here are some of those progressions: one hand cartwheels, bar hand cartwheels. These are the drills for front and side aerials. This is an excellent video if you haven't already watched it. Flying cartwheels and how to spot that as well. So giving the teacher all of those tools right at their fingertips so that they have them available. This, like I said, is just such a great video because it goes through all of the drills that you need to have in order to accomplish those front and side aerials. And here's just a few examples of what that looks like. And then it does tell the teacher as well what they should be looking for. So that's just a quick rundown of what it looks like when we put together all of those elements into the lesson plan using that really great format that we've already created, and give teachers the tools so that they can just access them right on demand. Here's the other really wonderful thing about that, Carolyn. If you happen to not be able to make it to class one night, and you're going through a series of lesson plans like the ones that I just demonstrated, you just have to hand over your app to the teacher who's going to be in charge, and they can follow along with the lesson plan, and you don't have to do any class planning or notes for your substitute teacher in that case.
I see. I am kind of gobsmacked, to say the least. Like I said, not to make it about myself, but as a newer teacher, it just feels like it would give me it gave me a boost of confidence. Like I was like, wow, I could go in and follow that roadmap and take all of that I already know and put that into play in a really well thought out way, and then ultimately to see the results for my students. And even if you had an experienced teacher, they, like you said, they can use that. They could use that for inspiration. They could pass it off if they're away for a while, or they could use the worksheet that you had showed at the beginning. So it makes me excited about the structure. I mean, and so much forethought has gone into that. Like, what an amazing value.
Yeah, I think it really does give teachers the confidence on what they should be teaching, how they should be using that hour, because every hour that you have those kids in class is so important. It's so valuable. Acro classes, usually you only get one of them a week. You don't usually get as many as you do for ballet or for some of the other disciplines. And certainly we don't get as many hours as a gymnast gets in the studio or in the gymnastics gym to learn how to do a back handspring and a side aerial. So we have to use every single minute. And these lesson plans are developed so that you don't waste a second of your class time.
Right. And I like how also it points back to other features that live inside the ADRC, like warm-ups and videos on different skills and drills, so it all loops back in together, which makes it even more incredibly valuable for teachers who are starting or those who are experienced, need new tips, ideas, ways of thinking, and freshening things up. If you've already got a structure that you're using to come into those valuable resources and dig deep.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, I don't have any questions. Certainly, if anybody watching has questions for Mandy, or you have questions about the ADRC or class planning, please post those in the comments below, and we will get to those right after our broadcast today to make sure that you get started right, or that if you've already got the ADRC, that you can find these incredible resources for yourself and put them into best use as you start to plan for your season ahead. Thank you, Mandy.
Thanks, Carolyn. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, teachers. Thank you for being here at this weekly mini. Join us next week for a special presentation from Megan Wigg from our aerial arts team on our new aerial syllabus. We will see you then. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.